there has been a name, and we've talked about a bunch of them. Darius Rush, Corey Trice a little bit, Calvin Austin, George Pickens, Van Jefferson's been impressive, Scotty Miller's been impressive, Deshaun Elliott, excuse me, looks like he's got muscles on muscles on muscles. Minka's looking like Minka Ball, so on and so forth. We've tossed everybody out there. There is one name we've talked about a little bit. We need to start talking about way more, because this dude is, in my opinion, hands down the most impressive person at minicamp. The most impressive person that's been on the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers over the last 3.5 weeks, pushing 4 weeks. That is Nick Herbig. As outside linebacker, Nick Herbig, second-year guy. And I talked to Terrell Austin yesterday, asked him where he sees Nick Herbig and if he could see signs of that second-year leap. Everybody says that in Pittsburgh, it's about going from year 1 to year 2. That's when you'll see the most growth, and you see that a lot of times. I asked Austin if he could see the signs of that, because it's still shorts and helmets. You got to see more of it. But if he could see the beginning of this was his answer. I thought it was very interesting. Quote, "It's not so much in the rush and how he's rushing, but I think it's in his approach to the game and what he knows. It's always a little different. You get used to NFL football in your first year. Your second, you get a jump because you kind of understand the game, and that's what I see with him. He understands what's going on around him. It's not just, hey, what's my position? He can understand, and he has a good feel for the game." He continued to say, "I'm very excited about Nick, and I think when you look at what he did last year and the limited amount of reps he played, his impact was pretty good. If he was playing more reps this year, it wouldn't surprise me. And I wouldn't be like, oh, we got to get the other guys back in. I would be trustful of what he's going to do when he's in the game." He started that question by just strictly saying, my question was, do you see that second-year leap? Do you see the signs? His was yes, period. I feel very good about Nick Herbig. That dude's been ridiculous. I said it to you before the show. Either Troy Fautanu is really bad or Nick Herbig is really good, because it has been a lopsided battle, and there have been moments. If you are at practice, if you are at Pittsburgh Steelers practice, and you can see it in games. You see it in games all the time. TJ Watt does this thing where if you piss TJ Watt off, and TJ Watt does not believe he should have been pissed off in that moment. Like, a good example is yesterday during practice, and again, probably not supposed to say this, but I'm going to say this anyways because I love you guys. Flag gets thrown on TJ. TJ does not think that a flag should have been thrown on TJ. He's not happy about it whatsoever. So the next play, instead of just going through the play, allowing the offense to do your thing, playing good football, no. He decides Broderick Jones is going 30 yards into the backfield, whether Broderick wants to do it or not. TJ throws this man. It was ridiculous. Nick Herbig starts doing stuff like that. It's Nick Herbig. You see those moments where it's like, ooh, that was wild. Like, Nick should not have been able to maneuver another grown man that is 100 pounds more than him the way that he is maneuvering these men. He should not be in the backfield making Justin Fields run for his life on every single play. But that's what's happening. Nick Herbig looks like an absolute monster out there. I expect a massive jump from year 1 to year 2. We got to put pads on. But I don't know. It's just it's the fluidity. It's not the, oh, that was a good play by Nick. It's every single play this dude is winning. And you could ask Justin Fields. He's not having a good time there. He's running around like a lunatic because Nick Herbig is chasing him all over the place. I know you have not been there, but to hear about Nick Herbig and that growth, how, I don't want to use the word exciting, but how high does that bring the Steelers' potential to have a third outside linebacker that might be a stud and is only 22 years old behind TJ and Alex?
I mean, it increases their potential exponentially. It does, because you talk about last year and how well off they were with a rookie Nick Herbig and a veteran Marcus Golden. If you have Nick Herbig getting some more of that maturity, you have him basically covering 2 spots. And the big thing for that is, I mean, you even saw it last year. I don't have to be there at minicamp. I can, one, I trust your eye on football. And 2, you started to see it towards the end of last season where he started to just get it. And if that continues to grow, and like you mentioned, it's early, we don't want to make sweeping overreactions based on minicamp and football in shorts. But if he can continue to do that, that is a massive, massive positive for the Steelers, because it's not going to be this year. It might not even be next year. But if he can supplant Alex Highsmith Everybody talks and complains about the Steelers having the most expensive defense in the league. If he's able to elevate his game, and again, this is an if, but if he's able to elevate his game to that level and become the number 2 next to TJ Watt, that opens up the opportunity to maybe perhaps move on from Highsmith down the road, open up some salary cap space, and be able to add to the team as a whole. So again, his emergence as a true stud outside linebacker is nothing but a positive for the Steelers, and you saw it begin last season.
Yes, I agree. 100% is all you're looking for is positives. And again, just like you said, if you could be a guy that pushes the other, TJ Watt's not going anywhere. You know, TJ Watt's not, the city would riot, but definitely should riot if TJ Watt ever left the Pittsburgh Steelers before he was ready to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers, or it looked like he wasn't a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore, or shouldn't be here. If you could surpass Alex Highsmith in the next couple of years, the Steelers are in massively good territory because you just developed another star outside linebacker. And it kind of feels TJ is a great outside linebacker, and you knew that coming into the NFL. Like, TJ was a guy that I couldn't believe he fell to them. I was very excited that he did. You look at the long history of Steelers outside linebackers and the greats, and a lot of these guys are the middle of the pack, end of the road outside linebackers who got a chip on their shoulder, and the Steelers bring in here to develop into absolute monsters because they just fit what they could do when they grow that game. A lot of guys look at guys and say, oh, he's already really good. The Steelers look at it and say, he has the tangibles to make him really good. He has the physical traits, this or that makes him really good over development. Nick Herbig looks like that guy. When he came in here, he looked like that guy. Really fast, explosive off the line, has a good jump, as athletic as they come, and is powerful. Much more powerful than his size says he should be. That's what the Steelers have worked on for a full year, is just perfecting all of those things. You're starting to see it, and this is only year 2. The guy's 22 years old. That's wild. He's got 8 years before he's TJ Watt's age. That's 2 NFL contracts. That's a long time. That's a long time to develop, and I think he is he's going to do some massive things for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is my name to watch heading into training camp because I think he's been the winner of minicamp. I always put out my guys that impress after minicamp, and I plan to do the same thing tomorrow or Saturday morning. I haven't decided when it'll go live yet. He will headline that list. He will be the top guy that you just undeniably is going to be a stud, and you just have a hard time. He's George Pickens. He's Jaylen Warren. He's those guys from years past. He looks that 3. And Calvin Austin, Big Mabe, Calvin Austin will be on that list as well.